Hi guys, Bernard here. Hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to the Citizen channel as we look back at a disappointing night in Portugal, to say the least. Chelsea 1, Manchester City 0, or Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. I think we were classed as the home team, weren't we? But didn't make a lot of difference, did it? Porto, 8 p.m. on 29th of May 2021. So I'm going to have a look at that, a little quick match analysis. I don't want to dwell too long on it. Of course, the interesting Manchester news and my player ratings. Stuart Brennan's in charge again tonight. So we'll have those. We'll have some quirky stats, not many of those. There are some, but some I didn't really want to mention. So there's one or two there that are okay. So a little bit more as we look back at my thoughts on the game, my thoughts on Pep, and my thoughts perhaps on the players last night as well. We'll have a little chat about that. And I said, don't forget we're going live on Monday night as well, so if you want to get anything off your chest, Monday, bank holiday Monday, isn't it? So please, if you're not in work, tune in for 5 p.m. UK time on the Citizen channel. We'll have a little post-mortem. Let's have a bit of a laugh as well, eh? That's all we can do, isn't it? That's all we can do. We've still got a couple of trophies in the bag, haven't we? We haven't got one there, and there'll be a picture up there of the other one. So, well, we've not a total disaster of a season, but yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. Please, if you're new to the channel, fantastic. We just gone over 900 subscribers now, fantastic. It'd be great to get to 1,000 before the next football season. It'll soon fly by. It'll soon be here. So if you can pass the word, please. That's much appreciated for everyone who's given me a follow recently. Absolutely fantastic. Or give me a subscription recently. Absolutely fantastic. So my love and appreciation for that. And obviously it's not the greatest time now, is it? But there's loads of stuff in the summer, but we'll talk about that at the end of the vlog anyway. Coming your way on the Citizen channel, lots of City stuff. And please, you will see some stuff on my film and TV channel as well, so if that's any interest, have a look at that. If you want to have a break from football, probably, yeah, have a look at that. I do reviews and information vlogs, try and inform and entertain on there as well, try and be a bit funny if I can, or a bit, just try and liven it up a little bit. So have a look at that if you get a chance, or if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, all your comments are very welcome, and I do post loads of stuff on Facebook and Twitter, so if you check the links and follow me on there, I do check every 2 or 3 days and follow and friend everyone back. And of course, so as I said, comments are welcome. And if you haven't got time for a comment, just give us a little thumbs up. I mean, I know we're all down. Of course we're down. I've been there since the mid-60s. I was one of the glory hunters. I mean, don't forget we were a cracking team when I first started supporting them. But had a few downs since then, haven't we? We've had a few ups now, haven't we? But these downs, we've got to celebrate the ups. We have to live with these downs, don't we? Unfortunately. Right, on to the game itself. Yeah, the officials. I'm not going to mention the officials particularly. I thought they were okay, actually. Just as bad for both teams. So that's par for the course, I think, for the Champions League this season. I would have liked to have seen that handball to chest perhaps another time or two from angles, but we never get to see that, do we? Because it's obviously City and it doesn't really matter that much, so we don't get an in-depth analysis of it. But we have to believe that I think the commentators said it looks as though it was, and the ref seems to be quite sure it was chest to arm. So there you go. Whether his arm was strategically placed to control it off his chest, who knows? We'll never know, will we? Because no one shows it us, but that's just how it is. Starting lineup, yeah, 2 changes to the Everton game. Obviously, Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Stones, Zinchenko, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Bernardo, Mahrez, Sterling and Foden. Yeah, sub Stefan Carcinaki, Jesus, Aguero, Laporte, Rodrigo, Torres, Mendy, Fernandinho, Cancelo and Garcia. So no injuries, but that was his best 11 for this game. I got 10 correct, but I think the one I got wrong, Ferner, and certainly not Sterling. I think that was probably part and parcel of the problem we had all night, but we'll talk about that as we go through the game. Yeah, pre-match social media talk. I think JSG summed it all up for all of us. I thought the first thing I said when I was to my son, he was making a coffee in the other room, and I said, flipping echo, words to that effect. Sterling starting, that was the first thing I said, and JSGC said I'd have started Dino ahead of Sterling, but that's an attacking lineup, and it was an attacking lineup. Well, it was an attacking lineup, but it was attacking lineup with 6 midfielders. So was there an attacker on the pitch? No, there wasn't. There were 6 midfielders who are asked to attack. Let's be straight about that. It wasn't an attacking lineup as such, was it? So if you've got 6 midfielders, what do you do as the opposing team? You probably stick a few defenders and midfielders on them, don't you? So you sort of negate that. But hey, there you go. I'm going off kilter here, aren't I, with my thoughts. So here we go. The match summation. As I say, I did this while I was watching the match. Perhaps not as extensive as usual. No Phil Banerjee, but there's only one goal to talk about. We don't want to talk about it too much, but I'm sure Phil did a great thing yesterday before the game. I'm sure he'll put a match report out, so check Phil on Facebook anyway. And again, thanks for thanks for your little quotes and stuff, being able to use your excerpts, Phil, during this season. It's fantastic, some great match reports. And he did say he may not be doing them next year, so that'll be a great shame, but there you go. Yeah, 4 minutes, Chelsea brought out the first save, and Chelsea did what Chelsea did against us the last couple of games. He looked able to get behind us, and this was very evident in the first 4 minutes. We got our first chance for Sterling, but yeah, fantastic through ball, a fantastic run by Sterling. Don't get me wrong, he timed everything right. All right, it wasn't the easiest ball to take down from the sky from Edison's kick, but his first touch let him down badly. He ended up nearly scoring with a back heel at the end of it, but that is Raheem Sterling, unfortunately. He does a lot of things right. What did I say? I said I didn't want him anywhere near that goal. I can play with him running down that wing and getting into space as long as he's crossing or passing it to someone else. But I'm afraid if he's got the goal scoring opportunity, he's not going to score it, and that just sort of backed that up, really, didn't it? Which was unfortunate. 10 minutes, Werner had an air shot. He should have done better. We should have been 1-0 down. Werner, he sort of, with his left foot, he sort of totally miskicked it, didn't he? But he should have done better with that. And again, on 14 minutes, he couldn't sort his feet out, could he? And Edison made a save, but it was quite an easy save. But again, Werner should have done so much. But again, there's another guy that we said can't do anything in front of goal, but his pace, obviously, have him setting it up for someone else or pulling defenders out of the way, which probably had something to do with the goal as well, didn't it? And he is a nuisance, Werner, no matter, even though he can't hit a barn door. 17 minutes, one of the smallest players, was it Kanté headed over the bar? I mean, if we're going to let a 5'6" dwarf head over the bar, I mean, we're in trouble, aren't we, at the back, unfortunately. 21 minutes, a good move. KDB didn't do many, he did 1 or 2, but he fed Sterling, but he'll get a corner out of it, but that's about it. 27 minutes, yeah, Foden should, I mean, it was goal bound, I'm sure it was in the goal, but a last-ditch effort from Rudiger in defence sort of blocked it, just as it looked as though it was going to put us 1-0 ahead on 27 minutes, but probably the best we saw from Foden last night, that. Because he did pretty much everything right. It's just one of those things. 30 minutes, Walker does great, but Mahrez can't get a touch to it, can he? Sort of flings it in, and Mahrez is about a foot or two. It wasn't inches. I think it was about a foot or two short of getting to it. 34 minutes, Gundogan was having a torrid time. We'll talk about him in a bit and his position and where Pep asked him to play. Was booked for about his 3rd or 4th foul, I think. I think he should have been booked before that. He was awful, to be honest with you. 42 minutes, no cover. And this is sadly the goal and the goal that decided the game. Havertz, of course, through the middle. Zinchenko looked as though he was just watching him, but Diaz had been pulled out of position. Stones was absolutely nowhere. So, I mean, all right, we can blame Zinchenko, but he shouldn't be having to cover a centre half position when we've got 2 centre halves there. And sadly, as we know, ask Edison not to come off his line is like asking the sun not to rise, is it? So if he'd stayed on his line, at least Havertz would have had to sort of make some sort of decision. But Edison committed himself, came out of the area, so he couldn't even pick it up. He couldn't even use his hands. It did hit his fists, obviously. So if that had been blocked, perhaps he would have been sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. I don't know. But either way, he left himself with no chance, really. And as I said, asking Edison not to stay on his line is like asking the sun not to shine. So I fully expected Edison to come out. We could have got the run of the ball. We could have got a bit of luck, but we didn't. So all credit to Havertz, who scored the goal. And I must admit, I did say, didn't I? It got to half-time without City really getting anything back, and Chelsea had played well. I did say if Chelsea go ahead, we could be in trouble, and that's exactly how it panned out, obviously. City's key players weren't performing. That was a comment I made at half-time. We're just not doing anything. We're just Chelsea negating everything and blocking everything and playing. I did say here at half-time, Chelsea playing almost the perfect game so far as playing against City. There you go. Into the second half, KDB, yeah... I was a bit cruel to him when he went down. I didn't think he fancied it last night. I just didn't think he was up for it, and I thought he was playing it a little bit till I saw the state of his face, obviously. But he was flat, and that was the end of him. Chance perhaps for Pep to shift things around. It's 58 minutes. I mean, he usually waits till 60, doesn't it? I mean, most fans wanted him to do something at half-time, but there's not a cat in hell's chance Pep's going to do anything at half-time, even though, not in cat in hell's, some people shout him to do something after 20 minutes. I mean, Chelsea had 4 good chances after 20 minutes. He did sod all, absolutely sod all. So, you know, you can blame the players for having, most of the players for having a terrible night, but again, Pep just doesn't change, does he? He just thinks what I do is correct, so I'm not willing to make a tactical change or anything like that. So anyway, he did make this forced tactical change. Ferner came on, of course. Jesus came on, of course, instead of KDB, and he worked quite well, Jesus. Foden had a shot on 61 minutes, was well over 64 minutes. Ferner came on eventually, so with just with injury time, about 30 minutes left, Ferner came on. Bernardo, who'd had a shocker, went off. 73 minutes, Pulisic should have really made it 2-0 and settled the game, shouldn't he? But he dinked it wide. But again, we just caught at the back. Chelsea didn't have many of those in the second half. They just sat back and soaked up what little pressure we put on them. So, but he should have really made it 2-0. It should have been game over then. So we still had a chance, didn't we? Sergio came on, of course. I'm not sure the minute he came on. I didn't have a note of that. So, and then Sergio found himself free on the left, into on the right of the goal as you look from the goalie's point of view, but on our left. And instead of sort of just putting his foot through it or trying something, he's tried to dink it back across with a little cross, and it was cleared. So that was a bit of a letdown when he was, you know, he's a striker. His instinct perhaps should be just to go for a goal, but obviously I think it fell to his left foot, so he wasn't overly confident. 88 minutes, a yellow for Jesus, yeah, which was bound to happen because he's putting himself about a bit. 90 minutes, yeah, another one where Diaz crossed it in, but we don't have a striker, do we? We don't have anyone in the middle who takes that chance to actually get on these things and goes to the edge of the box, etc. So it just went straight across goal with nobody on the end of it. 7 minutes injury time. Did you even think we were going to get anything? We turned into Cheltenham, didn't we? Walker turned in doing the long throws, so no disrespect to Cheltenham, but we turned into Cheltenham. So once we get to that stage, you know, it's pretty much the writings on the wall. So Walker had about 3 or 4 long throws in that last injury time, the last part of the game. And 96 minutes again, and even though it looked close, I mean, it just never seemed to sit down for Mahrez, did it? He come to his foot and he just couldn't keep it down. It just sort of floated wide. It probably only went over by about a foot, but it never looked in. It never looks as though it's going to sit down for him to hit it. And to be honest with you, we probably didn't deserve anything anyway. So obviously we lost the game 1-0. Ref watch, yeah, he was pretty useless for both teams, wasn't he? I mean, I think that's been most of the Champions League this year, and even Premier League. I think most refs have been totally abysmal for, you know, but they make silly decisions for both teams. He wasn't a disaster. As I said, I wouldn't have minded seeing that penalty thing a little bit clearer than we got to see, but hey, as I said, that's par for the course. We didn't really deserve much from last night, and we didn't get much from last night. It's as simple as that. The match stats, pretty poor reading, really. 7 chances for City, 7 shots for City, 8 for Chelsea. On target, just 1 for City. But, you know, that's probably a reasonable. If we'd had 20-odd shots, we might have managed 3 or 4 on target, but, you know, that's probably par for the course when we have a pretty bang average game anyway. They had 2 on targets, only 1 better. Possession, we had 61%, mainly due to that second half, I think. 39% for Chelsea. Passes, 608, not great. 403 for Chelsea. Pass completion, one of our lowest of the season. 87%, 80% for Chelsea. That was low as well for a winning team, let's be honest about it. Corners, 3 for us, 1 for them. Fouls, 14 by us, 13 by us. There you go. Player ratings. I'll start with Mr. Brennan's description, his score, and then I'll add my little 2 pennyworth to it. Edison, a 70-yard pass. My starting score 6, by the way. I'm just going to start it at 6. So they did better than 6. They'll get more than a 6. Probably not today. They did worse, they'll get worse than a 6. So let's see how this goes. Edison, a 70-yard pass to Sterling, nearly came off, but he was repeatedly exposed by stretched defence. As I said, yeah, he probably could have done better with the goal, but as I said, he was left with pretty dodgy options, wasn't it? Let's be honest about it. Stuart's given him a 6. I am going to give him a 6. I nearly give him a 5, 5.5, but I will give him a 6 because obviously Pep sort of sailed him down the river with that defensive format in front of him. So I'll give him a 6 because I don't think there's much he could do that, to be honest with you. Say, but he could have done perhaps something a little bit different. Would it have saved the goal? Probably not. But apart from that, he didn't really get tested that much, did he? He made a couple of okay saves and a couple of collections in the air. Kyle Walker fancied his chances in a foot race against Chilwell, but he lost the tactical battle and gave the ball away repeatedly. Stuart's only given him a 4. I thought he was possibly our best player on the night, Kyle Walker. I've given him the standard 6. I thought at least he worked his socks off and he looked as though he wanted it. And there's not many of the, I'm not saying the other players didn't work the socks off, but they didn't look. I think the nerves and stuff got the better of them. At least Walker put it in 100%. So I think Stuart's been a bit mean with 4. I've given him a 6. John Stones, yeah, very, very nervous at the start. A big game syndrome with John Stones. He does look a bit panicky. That's why he probably struggles for England, as I think there's more pressure on him playing for England. And did have some early nervous moments. Stuart says early on, unsettled him. He was nowhere to be seen as Havertz raced through well. That probably goes for Stones and Diaz. I think they were both absolutely nowhere. I think Diaz got pulled out of position, was it by Werner? And obviously that left Havertz on his own. So Stuart's given him a 4. I'll just give him a 5. I just said here, we had 4 defenders. All I wanted the 4 defenders to do yesterday with the 6 midfielders in front of them. Not a total defensive brain, any of those 6 midfielders, I'm afraid. All I wanted the defenders to do was stay defending. Unfortunately, John Stones didn't. And the same with Ruben Diaz. Stuart says caught along, so I'll give him a 5, John Stones. I've not gone as bad as Stuart with a 4, but I'll give him a 5. Ruben Diaz, again, caught a long way from the point of danger of Havertz's goal he was. What a time to let a great season slip. But he's had a few of these mistakes in the second part of the season. I've been pointing it out, review after review. Stuart's given him a 4, I'll give him a 5. And again, I've just said, please defend. I mean, again, is it his fault? Probably not. Obviously, you have these lines on the pitch, don't you? Defenders all working as one. We were all over the place. Alex Zinchenko didn't seem to bust a gut and chase down Havertz. He didn't. Was he looking for an offside? I don't know what he was doing. Chelsea weighed on his defensive deficiencies. He did. Well, he said they would. But there you go. And I thought Bernardo would help him out. But there you go. It's obviously Pep mustn't be in a bubble. Pep. He mustn't know about these things or read things or look at things. I'm not too sure what he does. Stuart's given him a 4. I'll give him a 4 as well. I think there's 2 or 3 dodgy efforts. Some people said he played well. I don't think he did. And I think he could have done more for the goal, but he's not a left back, is he? But hey, we know that, don't we? And he's the best we've got, unfortunately. Gundogan left to protect the back 4, useless. After finishing the league season as a leading scorer and couldn't manage it. No, I think you had to go back to 18-19 when he was playing this role a little bit more, wasn't he? I mean, and all of a sudden Pep asked him to play it again against a very, very good team. Absolutely hung out to dry again, Ilkay, I think. Stuart's given him a 4. I'll give him a 4.5. He was actually lucky to stay on the pitch. I thought it should have been off, and certainly once he got booked, that was it. It was any thought of him tackling, which he wasn't very good at anyway, was out of the window. Bernardo Silva, no shortage of effort, but he's such a class he normally brings. We're woefully missing. He was subbed off. Yeah, I love Bernardo, as you know, but Stuart's given him a 5. I'll give him a 5. Yeah, just like the rest of the team, he never got going in this, and as I say, he did try, but he just didn't have the room. Chelsea didn't allow us the room for him to get going, unfortunately. KDB, Chelsea targeted him, closing his space repeatedly. They did with all our players, and his night ended in tears with a nasty eye injury. So Stuart's given him a 6. I mean, I'm not going to give him a 6. I thought he was pretty awful before the injury, so I'm going to give him a 5. He probably might be nearer a 4, to be honest with you. He never looked up for it like the rest of the team. He never, as the captain, he never inspired. He never got us going. I'm sorry, so I'm only going to give him a 5. He was never up. I hope he's okay. Hope he's fine. But even before the injury, he was having a shocker. Riyad Mahrez plays high left City's brutally left City's right brutally exposed at times. His attacking threat did not merit the risk. Yeah, again, a quiet game for Mahrez. He's been world class, hasn't he, recently? But when you play against a team where you don't have a lot of room, we need a little bit of magic, don't we? He didn't provide any magic, unfortunately. Stuart's given him a 4. I'll give him a 5. I'm not going to be a total downer. Raheem Sterling, a couple of moments early on, but Reece James wrapped him up for most of it, and he was a clear candidate to be taken off. Stuart's given him a 4. Yeah, I almost give him a 5, but I'll give him a 4.5 only for the fact that even though I thought actually he was probably one of City's better players, but that doesn't say much. But again, when it comes to the crunch, he just hasn't got it at the moment. Whether he'll get it back again, let's hope so. But at the moment, no. But again, hung out to dry by his manager. Phil Foden, in terms of technical ability keeping the ball, H was best City player, but Chelsea kept him out of danger areas. Yeah, give him a 6. Yeah, Phil, I'll give him a 6. As I say, he looked the most likely of our guys to actually get a goal. He should have had a goal. It was just wonderful defending that stopped it. And I think he worked as hard as anybody. And I think to give him less than a 6 would be a bit unfair. Gabby Jesus for De Bruyne on 59 minutes tried to change it. He's given him a 6. I have to give him a 6. I thought Jesus was exceptional when he came on, and he did cause panic in that Chelsea in defence once or twice. Too little, too late, unfortunately. But I'll give him a 6 as well. Thurner for Bernardo. Couldn't exert influence, so he's given him a 6. I'll have to give him a 6. I'm not going to give him any less than a 6. He did an okay job, and we looked a lot better, but as I say, it was almost over by the time he come on anyway. But yeah, we looked more solid within there. Sergio for Sterling on 77. Yeah, 77 minutes a game on. No dream ending for Sergio, of course. Stuart's given him a 6. I've not marched Sergio. There's no point. And City's man of the match. I'm not going to give it anyone particularly. I don't think anyone deserves it. I thought Walker was best of the bad bunch, but I think it's just an insult to the team overall to say anyone was a man of the match, to be honest with you. I thought from the manager down, we just didn't do ourselves justice. Up to Joe, here we go. Quirky stats. Tonight marks the longest ever gap between a major European final for a team, with the 2021 final being 51 years since City beat Gornik in the 1970 Cup Winners' Cup. There you go, 51 years. Be a longer gap if we actually go on to win it at some stage, or the Europa League, who knows. Pep Guardiola's lost his first cup final as Manchester City manager, with this loss only the second major cup final defeat of his managerial career after the Copa del Rey in 2010-11. Pep Guardiola's lost more matches against Chelsea in all competitions than any other club, 8 in his managerial career. He has lost his last 3 games against Chelsea. He's also lost 3 in a row against Real Madrid 2012-14 and Liverpool 2018. Of course, Real Madrid, was he at Barcelona then? It could have been at Bayern Munich. I can't remember which was which. Stat City, Alexander Zinchenko made his 100th appearance last night, so well done you, mate. Ruben Diaz also made his 50th appearance in all competitions, so well done for Ruben as well. But that's about it on stats. Sorry about that. My little conclusion. Yep, here we go. As far as Chelsea, yeah, once again, Tuchel outthinks Pep, out-tactics him, doesn't he? Or out-tactically plays him thoroughly deserved the win. Not the greatest team in the world, but you don't have to be the greatest team in the world to win European Cups. You just have to be a solid, play as a team, play really well, and that's exactly what they did, and that was good enough to win it last night. Arguably the better side by a long way, certainly in that first half. Obviously, they did sit back and protect what they got in the second, what they had in the second half, which was always going to be their plan anyway. There's no doubt about that. Once they got the noses in front, Tuchel's strict formations and that literally restricting anything, all the play within about 20 yards of the pitch is what they did with that back line and the midfield. They very rarely look like getting breached as they denied City space to create, and City didn't look capable. Say apart from that early one from Ederson. Ederson played the best through ball. Unfortunately, I think KDB had 1 or 2 that almost worked, but apart from that, as far as the midfield was concerned, we weren't creating anything or looked capable of creating anything. So well done, Chelsea. Yeah, Pep took a chance tonight, I think, again. It didn't come off again. No one's going to, people are picking on him, but most people aren't picking on him. But if you're going to play a back 4 against Chelsea, who consistently got behind you and got in between you in recent matches, literally within the last month or so, please have a back 4 that plays as a back 4. Don't have them all at different angles all over the pitch. Have a back 4 as a line, as a back 4. Have it controlled. It's just not good enough. You've got 6 midfielders sat in front of him, and you're asking Gundogan to do a defensive midfielder role. Why? Just have Fernandinho doing that. I mean, what use was having Gundogan in that position? Absolutely waste of time. He can't tackle for toffee. He's too slow. I have no idea. But if you're going to play that role, why just have? I'd bring Gundogan later on in the game or something if you need to, but don't have him starting the game in that role when he's not played there for over a season, or might even be a season and a half. I don't even remember when he last played in that position. Absolutely shocking shocking decision by Pep. And as I said, but yeah, all right, if you are going to go back four, yeah, fair enough, go back four, have a back four, but don't have a back two or a back one. I mean, don't have Zinchenko getting absolutely, you know, Diaz and Stones should have been there, solid in the middle. They shouldn't be being dragged out up the pitch. You know, we've got six midfielders, so we shouldn't need the defenders going up the pitch. If Walker goes up, make sure there's three back, make sure there's Zinchenko, Stones and Diaz back to defend. If Zinchenko goes up, make sure, you know, always make sure there's three back at least. It's just basic. I mean, I'm not a tactician. I'm not a master tactician, but I don't. Surely, it's not rocket science, is it? I mean, I just don't understand. And they say it was just a totally different way of playing that we played most of the season. I don't understand why play like that. Certainly, when you played a team recently, you know exactly how they play. We know how Chelsea play. As I say, what does Pep? Does Pep just sort of, oh, forget that. They'll play a different way this time. I mean, Tuchel knows how we play, and he played his team accordingly. I don't know. We didn't deserve anything, and that is precisely what we got. Pep was once again left a little bit looking a little tactically naive, to say the least. Chelsea played virtually to the same game plan that they had in the last two meetings. They didn't change much, so I mean, it's not as though they produced anything slightly different. Yeah, I thought Pep was trying to be clever by putting Sterling. I thought, oh, that's unusual, and he did say he wanted to play Sterling to get into behind. But what's wrong with playing Foden there? What's wrong with, you know, just having Foden in that position on the left? I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, he could have done that just as much as he had Sterling playing there, or, you know, he could have had someone else doing it. There's someone else I thought of earlier. I forgot who it is now, but you know. Because Sterling, yeah, he can do it. He can get in those positions, but he can't hit a barn door. So what is the point? What is the point? So unless he's, you know, I just don't know. So yes, Furner should have played, in my opinion. That was my 11 from the start to bolster that defence, as I said. But if he isn't going to play a defence, play a back line of four, and play it as a back line of four. Don't be fanning about, which is what they did last night. And Chelsea, as I said, within the first 20 minutes, they'd opened us up 4 times, and nothing changed, and it was only a matter of time before they'd score. And it was only when they scored we actually had a bit more of the ball, because they sort of sat back then. But that was their game plan anyway. Big mistake. I do blame the players as well. The players weren't up for it. I'm not always going to blame Pep, but then again, as I said, did he hang them out to dry again? Did he ask them to play positions that they perhaps weren't used to, or a style that we certainly weren't used to? Because obviously he did. You know, it wasn't a team with play. I don't remember us playing that team before. You know, that 11. I know it's only one player different, perhaps, to my favourite team, but it does. You know, it's a knock-on effect as well. Just because you don't have Furner in there, it doesn't mean that other players aren't affected in other positions. But I did expect more from the players. I say KDB was poor. Yeah, but Chelsea were fantastic. They were tight. You know, but we've got to show a little bit of magic at times, a little bit of nous, and we didn't show any. Didn't seem to be any sort of commitment as for pace. And if we played straight to Chelsea's hands, we played quite a slow game, I thought. Just not good enough, and by the time we start lumping balls into box, you know it's all over. It's been all over the last 3 or 4 seasons when we started to do that. You know, the chances of something falling for us, you know, it could happen, but more or less it's not. And who's to say Chelsea wouldn't have got up at the other end and scored another one anyway, but there you go. I think Chelsea coped with the pressure. I think Chelsea coped with the night, with the expectation more than City did, which I think they're probably a younger team, are they? I think offhand, and they did very worked hard. They played as a team. City didn't play as a team last night. As I said, our sort of formation I thought was a little bit all over the place, and I don't think the players knew what they were doing. And Pep didn't have the ability to change it, even at half time when he could get them back in. He didn't have the ability to change it, and Chelsea just adapted. They just adapted to being a goal up and started playing a different game then, and we had no nous to get round it or through it or over it or whatever. But there you go. Chelsea, worthy winners, handled it better. Sadly, they didn't have to be that good, unfortunately, but they were good enough, and that's all that matters in a one-off cup game. It doesn't matter, and they didn't. You know, that's three wins from now. 3 wins for Tuchel. He's certainly sussed Pep out. Pep has to have a serious think, I think, over the summer. He's going away for a couple of weeks break now, so he'll recharge the batteries, and hopefully he'll be back. But yeah, a bit disappointing all round from the players and Pep. I mean, I don't think anyone escapes last night. But we've had a wonderful season. We've got a double. We did a double, didn't we? I mean, what more can we say? I mean, you know, obviously if I get stick from the rags at work, that's sort of say, oh well, We did 2, didn't we? But hey, you know, we're so close to making it 3. Will we get another chance next season? Will we bounce back? Who knows? I don't know. Join me on Monday. We'll have a chat about that anyway and what's going on. But yeah, that's all I want to say today. Please join me on Monday for the live show and let me know what you think. There'll be lots of vlogs over the summer. Don't you want your fix of City? There's still a couple of season-ending things, match day programme watch and stuff like that. I look at the Champions League match day programme, which unfortunately didn't arrive before the match, but we'll have a look at that and all the usual, of course, the book clubs, the moments in time, the got not gots, the player in time, City's history. I've not had one of them out for a while, from 1880 we're up to the 60s at the moment, so I think it's 67, 66, 67, 67, 68 due out, so that'll be out. Once the One City show will be there as well. Quizzes, there'll be some special City quizzes, not that was the week there was, but special one-offs, guess the ground, that sort of thing, and lots of different things. So stick with me, please, during the summer. Say, have a couple of days off, have a break, and then say you can watch my film things if you want, but then come back and watch all my City stuff. There's lots to come over the next, over the season break anyway, before all refresh for next season and another attempt to win the Champions League. There you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. What we're going to do this today, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Citizen channel or on the live channel, on the live one. Don't forget, Monday night. Whatever I ask you to do is please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.